Imagine opening your inbox and all of your unread emails already have perfect replies written, ready for you to send with just one click. Well, today I'm going to show you how to build your own AI-powered email assistant using Python, Flask, and Gmail that does exactly that. So first, what you need to do is you need to create a new project in PyCharm. So I've already created a project called Customer Support Agent Emails. And this project contains a few different files. So one of them is called knowledgebase.txt, and this is the file that contains some knowledge about our shop or our business. So I'm going to show you how this looks in a moment. Then we have keys.py, which contains our OpenAI key and the application password for our Gmail account. Then we have app.py, which is the driving module of our Flask application. And finally, we've got index.html that contains the actual contents of our page. So we're going to start by reviewing app.py. So basically, we need to import a bunch of libraries that have to do with reading emails. So these include IMAP library, email, smtplib, and then we import Flask. Then we have collections, OpenAI, and last but not least, we've got the email message. So after this, we import our email address, the email password, and the OpenAI API key. So basically, you need to generate an OpenAI API key from platform.openai.com, and you also need to enable the IMAP settings in your Gmail account. So in order to create an application password for your email account, what you need to do is you need to go to myaccount.google.com, and then from the search bar you need to type application password or app password, and you need to make sure that you have two-step verification on the account, otherwise it wouldn't let you create an application password. So first you need to complete the two-step verification process, and once this is done, then you can type application password here in the search bar, and then you can generate your application password, which you need to write down, and then you need to put that into your keys.py. So once you have your OpenAI API key and your email password, then what you need to do is you need to define the SMTP server, which is smtp.gmail.com. Then the SMTP port is 587. After this, we create an OpenAI client by passing the OpenAI API key. And then we create the Flask application, and we're attaching a variable to the Flask application which is called unread emails, and I'm going to show you how we populate this with some useful information from our emails. So after this, we've got a bunch of functions. So the first one is called fetch unread emails. And as the name suggests, this is going to go through your Gmail inbox, and it's going to get all the emails which haven't been processed yet or haven't been read. And what this is going to do is it's going to extract some information from each individual email, and it's basically going to populate this unread emails order dictionary that we just defined at the top. And then the key for each email will be the email ID, and then each email ID will be associated with different information, such as basically the email of the person that sent the message, the subject, the body, and then what this is going to do is it's going to include a draft response to that email. And this is done by calling this function, which is generate reply. So generate reply takes the body of the email that was just processed, and if we look at generate reply, which is the next function in the pipeline, you can see that this function contains a system prompt, which is a bit long, but it's very descriptive about what it's supposed to do. So in this case, this is a professional customer support assistant for a shop called TechFix IT Repairs. And then we basically tell OpenAI how it needs to process the emails and how it should respond to them. And last but not least, here we have, if relevant, use the knowledge base below. And then we're calling app.knowledgebase. So this is basically the contents of knowledgebase.txt. And if we look at this file, you can see that it contains a lot of information about this TechFix IT repair shop. So it has all the business information like website, email, phone number, opening hours, then all the different services, then pricing, policies, customer FAQ, and so on. So you can populate this file with the information that's specific to your shop or your business. And what happens in here is basically we're just referencing this piece of text into the prompt so that when we send the prompt to OpenAI, it has all the information about our business. And after this, what we do is basically we're calling this create function and we're passing GPT-4o mini as the model. And then in the messages list, we're passing the system prompt, which is this prompt. And then we're passing the email body, and the email body is the body that comes from basically reading each individual email. And finally, what we do is we basically return the response that was given to us by OpenAI. After this, we've got a function which is called send email, and then this takes three different parameters. So it takes the recipient, the subject, and the body of the email. And what happens in here is we create a context manager with SMTP, and then we're basically logging in with the email address and the email password. And after this, we create an instance of this email message, and then we're setting the subject, the basically the sender email, and then the recipient's email. We're setting the content, and finally we're sending this to the target recipient. Next, what we have is this index root. So this is our one and only root of our application, and it's responsible for fetching all the unread emails and then displaying them onto our web page. So as you can see, we're calling this function fetch unread emails, and this is the function that we already looked at. And what this function does is it basically populates this variable, which is unread emails. And what happens in here is basically once this function has finished, then this variable will be populated with information about all the unread emails, and we're going to pass that information into a variable called emails, and then we can see how we render this information on the screen. We actually have another root in our application. So apart from the index root, we've got another root which is called send email, and this root is used for sending emails, as the name suggests. And what this does is basically it takes only a post request. So when someone sends a post request to this endpoint, what is going to happen is we're going to get the JSON body from the request. Then we're going to fetch the email ID, and then using this email ID we can find the basically the details about this email. And in order to do that, we're referencing the unread emails, and then we're saying, okay, give me the email for this email ID. And after this, what we do is we extract the necessary information from this email. So we've got the recipient's email address, then we've got the subject, and finally we've got the draft reply from OpenAI. And what we do next is we're calling this function send email by passing all the necessary information to it. And finally, we return a success message just to say that we have successfully sent the email. This is how our main function looks. So what we do in here is before the application starts, we basically read the knowledge base file, and then we're assigning this to a variable which is called knowledge base, and then we reference this variable into our system prompt. So just to recap, you can see that in our system prompt, when we define this, we're passing our knowledge base by calling app.knowledgebase. So next, what we're going to look at is our index.html page. So you can see that it contains just a little bit of styling, and obviously you can spend as much time as you want on the styling, but usually I tend to focus more on the functional stuff. And yes, so in here you can see that we've defined the body of the HTML page, and then we have h1 header. After this, what we say is if we have any emails, and this is basically the list of unread emails that we have. So emails is an ordered dictionary, and what we do in this case is we go through each item in this ordered dictionary, and we create an email card using the information from this email. So you can see that we have the recipient's email, then we have the subject of the email. After this, we've got the actual body of the email that we received. And what we do next is we basically display the draft reply, which we have from OpenAI. And in here, we're just passing some hidden inputs just so we can store the information about the email. And then we just put the draft reply into the text area. And what we do next is we create a button which has the functionality to send a reply. And in this function, we're attaching an action listener to this button, which is called send email. And then this takes the index and the email ID. And we're going to look at this function in a minute. And finally, we've got a status div, which displays the current status of the email. And if we didn't have any unread emails, we're just going to display this text. So the function, which is called send email, is very important because when someone clicks on the button to send an email, then this function is going to get called. And in here, what we do is basically we extract the reply from this variable, and then we get the status, and we change the status to sending so that when the user clicks on the button, then we change the status to sending so they can see that something is actually happening. And after this, what we do is we're calling fetch, and we want to hit this endpoint, which is send email, and then this is a post request. We're passing the headers, and also we're basically sending the email ID and the actual reply. So the reply is basically the response that we got from OpenAI, and this is the reply to the actual email. After this, what we do is we're just waiting for this response to return a message, and once it has returned a message, then we change the status. And as you know, in our send email endpoint, what we do is once the email is sent, then we return this response, which is email sent successfully. And this is exactly the message that will be displayed in the status div once this is returned. So now what we can do is we can run our application and we can test it out. So let's go to app.py, let's run the application. So the application is up and running now, and I will show you the emails that I sent to our Gmail account. So here are the two emails which I sent from one of my Gmail accounts to this Gmail account. So the first email is, "Hi, do you repair broken screens? If yes, what is the price?" And then the second email that I sent was, "Hi, I have a problem with my laptop. It is loading very slowly and I want to get it fixed. Can you help me?" And you can see that I've sent the emails to the same recipient, which is Richard's Jason. And then if we come to this email inbox, you can see that the emails have been received successfully and they were already read. So when you open this link, which is our local host, what's going to happen is it's going to fetch all of the unread emails from your inbox, and then using the information from the emails, it's going to build this web page. And this is the web page which we just reviewed in our index.html file. So you can see the H1 header here, AI-powered email support agent. And this is the first email. So it sorts the emails into ascending order. So this means basically from the oldest email to the most recent email. So you can see all the information from each individual email at the top, and then basically you've got the recipient's details, the subject, then the actual email address, the actual email body, and then we have the draft reply from OpenAI. So you can see that the draft replies are very personalized. So it says, "Hi Martin, thank you for reaching out to us. Yes, we do repair broken screens for both smartphones and laptops." And then it's giving the price and the actual ranges. And then it's saying, "Okay, if you like to proceed, please visit our shop or you can call us." And this is the information that comes from the actual knowledge base file. So if we just quickly go back to PyCharm, so if we open the knowledge base, you can see that the location of the store is 123 Main Street, Springfield. And then this is the phone number, and this matches exactly the information that's in this draft reply. And if we look at the second email, so the second email was, "I have a problem with my laptop." And yeah, so you can see how personalized this reply is. And it's basically telling the customer all the details, and you can see that there is a diagnostic check fee which is $30, and this is waived if the problem is resolved successfully. And again, it's giving some details about our store and the actual address and the phone number, and if they want to book an appointment, then they can basically call the shop or send an email. So now what we can do is, if we're happy with this draft reply, what we can do is, in order to send this email to our customer, what we need to do is we just need to press this button. So let's go ahead and press it. And as you can see, when you press this button, it changes the status, and now the status is saying sending. And shortly after this, you get this notification, "Email sent successfully." So now if we go back to our email, you can see that there's already one email waiting for us. And if we just open this up, you can see that this is exactly the draft email that we had in our web page. And see, it's nicely formatted, it's personalized, and it works as expected. And we can go back and do the same for the second email. So if we have a look at this email, you can see that this is slightly longer because it contains some more information about basically why the laptop is running slowly. and if we just hit the send reply button, then you can see again the status changes, and shortly after this you will get another notification. So now if we go back to our inbox, you can see that we have a new message or a new email, and if I open this, you can see all the information and all the details about why the laptop might be running slowly, the diagnostic fee, which is $30, and so on. If you found this video useful, please like it and subscribe to the channel. If you want to get the code behind this video, you can join my school community. The link should be down below in the description. It's completely free and you don't need to pay anything. If you have any further questions about this project or any of the previous web applications that I've created, again, you can contact me on Instagram, or you can join my school community and then you can send me a message. And thank you very much for your time, and see you in the next video.